What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start this show by being transparent. Yesterday, I did take the Cardinals, and they fell short. So, got to do a little bit better in NFL. But we do have two WNBA games to talk about today, as well as some football, college football. So, back here with Mr. Rob Veno. I'm curious how you did yesterday and how you feeling today.
I'm good today, Skee. We had a 1-0. The East Carolina team total, man, got the good side of the half last night because we had team total over 27.5. They got the 28. Maybe should have been more, but we'll take it. Was a win. So for the week now, Monday till now, 7-0. So very, very happy with the way things are going this week. Hopefully we keep that going.
It's 7-0. Can't beat that. Nice work on that. Shout out to Latino Unicorn 99 for reposting the stream. Definitely helps us out. And let's get to it. Don't have the most time today, and we have a good amount to talk about. So we'll start in the W. Ladies first. That means first game is 6-17, 6-18. Las Vegas Aces going to Indiana now to take on the Fever. Opened up -4.5 for the Aces. It looks like 4 is a consensus number, and total open 162.5. Not a whole lot of movement. I'll still call 162.5. I'll still call that the consensus. So, Vino, Indiana surprised everybody in that game one. Aces looked like they took note. They put belt to ass in game two. Now they got to go on the road and face this scrappy Fever team once again. So I think it's pretty interesting to see it open 4.5. And, I see even a 3.5 out there right now. They think that Indiana has a real shot to win this game. And I'm going to be honest with you, Vino. What I've seen from the Fever so far this year, they get help. All year long, they've gotten a lot of help. And I think being at home tonight, they'll get some more help again. So that makes me hesitant to think that the Aces can win this game, even if I think they're the better team, or will win this game, even though I think they're the better team. I'm curious if you see it that way, or are you looking more at the total?
Yeah, maybe they need this series to go 5 and the help happens. I don't we shall see. I think they're probably the right side here in this game, Skee. To me, it seems like it's a game that comes down to a bucket either way, and 3-point shots. So let's say 3 points either way. A Friday night at home in that arena. We'll see if Las Vegas answers the bell. They can certainly – they've had time enough off to game plan, to understand after 2 games what Indiana's all about, how limited they are. Certainly the defense shut Indiana down in game 2. But Kelsey Mitchell wasn't productive in game 2. I would expect she's productive here in game 3. And this is probably the game to get Indiana's A-plus effort. I think game 1, even though they won it, it was more catching the Aces by surprise or tired than anything else. Game 2, Aces were well aware of the Fever's presence. Like you say, belt to ass. Now game 3 is where Indiana gives you 40 minutes of what I would consider to be a good effort. I'm hoping that it works this way because my vision is to play Indiana tonight, come back with Las Vegas in game 4, and then have Vegas win that series in 5. I didn't look, Skee, but I am going to look right now. So the Aces are still kind of costly at this point. If they lose this game, I would probably come back with a series play on the Aces if they go down 2-1, because I do think they can win on the road, and I do think they would clinch it at home in game 5. So for me, best case scenario is if Indiana gets the money here. I played them very, very slightly, +4. We'll see how it goes, but I just think that they'll be ready for this one.
I think they'll be ready too. B-Man says Fever are 9-0 against the spread at home, number 1 points per game. He's hesitant because of how Vegas has played lately. 9-0 as underdogs, he says, at home. Yeah, this one is scary if you like the Aces. Casey, I know she likes the Aces, and she's saying she's scared right there. So I can't talk you off of looking towards the Fever. From a total perspective here, Rob Veno, you saw, if the Fever are going to be in the game or win, to me, it seems like it's not going to be a shootout. Like, they don't have the personnel anymore to really go bucket for bucket. So I would think we see a good defensive effort from them. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I think we just go back to game one. Remember when Asia was complaining about all the physical play, rightfully so. But I think you and I even talked about it on the last show that Indiana has kind of resorted to that inside physical type stuff, which they really weren't to start the season. But because of their personnel and their lack of depth right now, they have to be. So I'm with you. I think that this one takes on a real playoff type atmosphere, type style, and asking for, what do we need here? 82, 81. Seems like a lot to me. So I think under 162 and a half. I'm looking here and you can find, I don't know how stale this line may be or if it's current 163 and a half. That's even better number. Shop it best you can, but I think under is the right way to go.
All right, good stuff, Mr. Rob Veno. Let's move it on over to the next game. That is 619, 620, Minnesota Lynx and Phoenix Mercury. Open at -4.5. Looks like 4 pretty much across the board. Total open 158.5 and hasn't moved that much. Another one where, I mean, we have the split series, but it was surprising to see Minnesota melt down the way that they did. For all season long, they've been a really good second half team, especially. So that just caught my attention. That makes me think that we should be, giving Phoenix a little bit more credit and taking them more seriously, maybe than some others have. I think they're another team that's live to win tonight. I'm worried about the Minnesota Lynx after that last game. How are you viewing this one?
The power ratings that I keep, Skee, actually said both of these road favorites should have been 1.5, not 4 or 4.5, like we see out there. So I think maybe they're both a little bit overpriced. Of course, and we've seen money toward the dog, so maybe my numbers are fairly decent. But Minnesota's scary. However, all that being said, when we talked about this game the other day, Satu, she's developing a pattern, right? Lousy game ones, come right back game two, probably play well again here at home. Again, the Friday night atmosphere at home. Phoenix is a tough building to play in. And so it comes down really to the shooting of both here. Minnesota hasn't had that true good shooting night yet. I wonder if that happens here tonight in this game. If so, feel like Phoenix could probably match it. I was leaning toward the total over a little bit in this game at 58.5. Thought maybe this could reach 60. But I haven't played it. I do think Phoenix is live as an underdog. If they're going to stay in this series, it's got to be with this game. I think, they probably want to win them both and not have to go back to Minnesota. So Phoenix probably for the side. I think over where the total is concerned. Last game, I'm trying to remember what it was before overtime struck. I'm looking here, 79-79. So that was 158 before it got to overtime. So it wouldn't have cleared this number. But Minnesota fell apart in the second half the same way Phoenix fell apart in the second half in game one. It's funny how each team has played a miserable second half so far. Correction takes place. Maybe we get that extra bucket and get over.
I don't know. I see it a little bit different here. The only game that these teams have played, like out of the last maybe 6+ even meetings that's gone over, has been because of overtime. Like, these are two really good defensive teams. And that's what we've seen every time they play. I don't know that will change in this matchup. So I'm a little bit opposite on that one.
Real quick, too, Skee, just to your point about under possibly. I remember coming on the other day and saying there were hardly any free throw shot in game one. It were only 10 total. And there weren't many in game two either. Somehow these teams play foul-proof basketball. And if you're not getting extra points from the free throw line, it does make it a little more difficult to get over.
All right. So you think we'll
see what the whistles do, Skee? We'll see what the whistles do.
They make a big difference, a big deal of how the game is going to go. So we shall see. Brian H., I would think it's more of an under day than over day. I think that's how he's looking at it there. B-Man says Lynx were -1,400 to win the series, now -330. So, that tells you everything right there. A little bit of worry for this Minnesota team that looked like a juggernaut all season long. All
Yeah,
right,
you're still
Vino.
hanging on to that Phoenix title
I
ticket
am.
too, right?
I am. What is it? Plus 1,800, I believe it was. So
Yeah. Let's go
I'm not
Mercury.
mad if Phoenix want to compete. I'm very good with that. I would love to see the Mercury in the finals, and then just decide to do with that ticket. I mean, I know what I'll do. I'll go ahead and hedge it because I put a few units on plus 1,800. All right, college football, Rob. We have FSU and Virginia. Um, I think this one opened up higher, like closer to the 9 area. My bad, my eye screen froze, but it's come down. I did even see it dip down past the 7. In the total, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Rob. When I looked at it earlier this morning, I think it was lower. Now I'm seeing 60 and a half. So I didn't do as much research as you on this one. How are you seeing FSU and Virginia?
Yeah, I played this one, and I played it. I've been a proponent of Virginia offensively this season. Skee, it got me paid again last week. They played Stanford. The total was set at 49. Virginia scored 48 by themselves. I think a lot of people were slow to the table. It's what we try to do in this business, right? We try to see things before the odds maker can see and be a little proactive. It worked last week. They're catching on somewhat here because FSU has played really good offensive football too. Both teams good at the quarterback position, but let's give a lot of credit to Thomas Castellanos, the BC transfer that went to Florida State, predicted over the summer that they could beat Alabama, went out and did it, and they haven't looked back since. Virginia gained 590 total yards last week. I think it's the second week in a row they put up over 500 yards. FSU has been tattooing everybody. After Alabama, the competition hasn't been great. That being said, Virginia's defense isn't that great. It just, this game sets up as two upper tier offensive units against a Virginia defensive unit that I would say is average at best, maybe less, and a Florida State, defensive unit that is still unproven. Played Alabama. It was Ty Simpson's very first game as a starting quarterback. Ryan Williams, their star receiver, got knocked out with a concussion in the fourth quarter in that game. So I don't know what to make of FSU defensively, but I know that I believe Virginia's offense is one of the most overlooked units in the country. So for me, it was over 59 and a half. And to your point about this line, it has bounced. Every time it seems to get to 60 and a half, another group comes back and pushes it down a half, up a half, down a half. We'll see where it closes. To me, it'll reach the key number is 61, and we can get paid with an over.
Good stuff on that. Tyler Flowers looked like he got a good number on this one, up and over as well. And we'll see where that total ends up there. Now, Vino, I'm gonna open it up and we're gonna spray the board a little bit here.
Let's go.
Yeah, you know how I like to do NFL. I'm not long-winded, but I have a good amount of opinions on some of these games in NFL Week 4. So we'll just put the banner up like that, and I'll go down the list. Actually, I mean, I have something I played that I really, really love. I have something else I'm really looking to play. And I have some question marks on other ones that could help me push me towards some. So let's start like this. We will go Detroit and Cleveland. Um this screen says the opener was 9.5. It's up as high as, I mean, I see a 10.5 out there. But earlier in the week there were eights, there were 8.5s. I know because I took one. Minus on the Lions. So my thought process was pretty much, I mean, we saw a pretty good game from that Cleveland defense. Probably would be satisfied after getting that W. The Lions, I mean, I don't think the Cleveland is that good. Their defense is solid, but their offense stinks. They weren't able to score versus the Bengals. They weren't able to score versus it was another bad defensive team that I'm blanking out on right now. So I'm just not really impressed with what I've seen from them offensively. And because of that, how can they keep up with this Lions team that's, 38 points? Like, this Lions offense is starting to get into a rhythm now after that first game. And we've seen when they get into this rhythm, going back to last season, I mean, it just continues on and on and on. So I want to ride that rhythm, especially with Detroit here at home. I think they can name their number, and I don't think Cleveland's offense can keep up. So I think Detroit is the right side in that game. Any thought from you?
Yeah, I think real quick, Skee, where Cleveland's concerned, the asset that they have is not only the defense, but it's basically Myles Garrett in that defensive line, right? And Detroit, if nothing else, they showed us last week that they're still one of the best offensive lines in the league because they drove Baltimore backwards all game long and ran it down their throats. And if Cleveland is unable to match up, defensive line against offensive line, it's going to be another blow. I think real quick here, when you just look back at their schedule, they went to Baltimore, lost 41-17. Final score is a little bit deceptive because they didn't give up a lot of yards to Baltimore in that game, but they gave up a lot of points, 31 second half points. Detroit, to me, just seems to be a steamroller right now. So I would only play their side in this game. Again, to your point about the Cleveland offense, it's very, very hard. A lot of times with this price tag, you would say the dog has the ability to backdoor cover the game. I know it's the NFL and weird stuff happens, but Cleveland just doesn't have that backdoor ability. It's not a team that goes down the field really quick behind Joe Flacco. And real fast, Detroit sacked Lamar Jackson how many times last week? And now they get to tee off on Joe Flacco. Could be a real long day for the Cleveland offense.
I'm in agreement on that. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that. DA got 9.5. Brian says Cleveland +9, but that Cleveland defense better at home than on the road. Yeah. I want to say they gave up like 27 points per game on the road last season. So I want to fade them. So let's keep going down the list. Let's talk about. I'm just throwing the games out today. I mean, if you have something you want to stop on, feel free.
Keep throwing. Keep throwing. Right.
San Fran and Jacksonville. I mean, it opened -3. I see a lot of threes still right there, 3.5s out there. Total went up from 44.5 to 47. My thought process here is, number one, Jacksonville is not that good. Jacksonville's defense sucks. And the offense is just untrustworthy, in my opinion. When I look at the other side, San Fran, yes, they've been there a little bit banged up, right? Kittle will not be playing, but I'm pretty sure both of the receivers, is it Pershaw and Juwan? They're both going to be available to play. And if I'm not mistaken, Brock Purdy looks like he's going to be available to play here, right? So we saw this team look pretty good with Mac Jones. And I've seen Brock Purdy for an entire season without any weapons. Like everybody was hurt last year, and he still was, getting the ball where it needed to go. I trust him more than I trust Trevor Lawrence. I trust the 49ers defense more than I trust the Jaguars defense. This is one of those situations where I would prefer to just bet San Fran to win. Can you talk me off of that?
No. No. And for a lot of the reasons that you said, San Francisco somehow, some way has managed to win 2 divisional games, Seattle and Arizona, when they had no weaponry at all. Last week, it was Christian McCaffrey and Mac Jones. They had no – George Kittle's been out since the first week against Seattle. When they beat Seattle, Kittle went out in the second quarter, didn't have Jennings. They're running around with only Christian McCaffrey in the backfield doing everything. They still won the game somehow, some way, and won it by more than 3 points. I think they won that one 17-13, something like that. So they've proven that they can win based upon defense, based upon doing just enough on offense against teams that, in my estimation, are better than Jacksonville. Seattle certainly is better than Jacksonville. Arizona, I would say, is a little better than Jacksonville. Jacksonville begged to be beaten by Houston last week. I had Houston, rip up that ticket. But, I mean, Houston had every opportunity to beat Jacksonville last week because Jacksonville couldn't pull away. Now you're going to send them on the road, West Coast. It's a non-conference game, which sometimes those games get a little looser where points are concerned. Because I was it was a little head scratching to me, Skee, to see the total go from 44 to 47. Like, why is it going there? Because San Fran's D should be able to keep Jacksonville quiet. And San Francisco, all their weapons aren't back. But it is non-conference. All that being said, San Francisco watched Seattle win and go to 3-1 last night. So as far as keeping pace in the division, you want to win here. I thought this price was cheap for San Francisco. I don't know that these two are in the same class. So I'm with you there. I do like San Francisco.
Good stuff. I'm glad you agree with me. That makes me feel even more confident. Jose Perez asking about anything on tennis. I haven't had a chance to look yet. I am still on the road. Got a lot of stuff going. Hadn't been able to look ahead to tennis yet. And when I finish this show and the next show, I'm going to be driving back home for a few hours. So I might not get a chance to look at tennis until this evening. To keep going down the list, I mean, a lot of stuff stands out to me here, Rob. All right, let's see. Let's go. Why are the Patriots laying 5.5 points? Like, what have we seen from them to where they're supposed to be a 5.5 favorite versus really anybody? That's kind of how I feel about. Same thing I said about the Falcons last week. Like, what have we seen to make us think that they should be expected to win by touchdowns now? I just don't see it. From the Panthers side, the defense surprisingly has looked good this year. A big improvement from what we saw last year, where they couldn't stop a nosebleed. And at the same time, what I said about, so not this past game, the week before, from that second half of the game through this past game for Carolina, that offense has looked a hell of a lot better. They look competent. They look good. Getting 5.5 points. I know they're not at home. I can't lay 5.5 with the Patriots. I really want to get there with the Panthers. How are you viewing? And if I have to say, well, I do give the Panthers defense more credit than the Patriots defense. So yeah, I want to get there with the Panthers. How are you feeling about this one, Rob?
Yeah, it's funny. I've talked to a lot of people about this game, and the number one argument I hear from them is Carolina won 30-0 last week. They're going on the road now. It ain't going to happen again. And I'm thinking, well, why not? Not to win 30-0, but why would you discount Carolina for that reason? You know what I mean? Because I'm of the opinion, I'm on the game, but I'm on the total. Because I feel like New England's pass defense has been so bad, and I'll just add on to your point about Carolina's offense beginning to look competent. We saw Bryce Young the end of last year start to turn it around. First game wasn't good, we get it, but it's been pretty good ever since, and New England hasn't stopped anybody through the air. So I feel like Carolina can get their share. And New England, to their credit, pretty good offensively at this point in time, and Carolina not the best defense in the world. So to me, this total being listed at less than 44, 24-20 gets me paid, 27-17 gets me paid, et cetera, et cetera. I like that angle of it. And I think if you like I do, Carolina's ability to move the football, then you have to like plus 5.5. I mean, it would take a rash of turnovers in my estimation that sets New England up to really not cover here. New England's not built to win games by huge margins. So I would have trouble taking the favorite here. I could only look dog, but mostly I think this one's going to get over 43.5.
All right. I mean, I did consider a first half over, but I don't know. I like the side a little bit more, so I'll leave that to you. Steve says, meh, Panthers, they don't have much on offense. Who is Bryce throwing the ball to? I mean, how did they score 30 points last week? Did they score a defensive touchdown? I don't remember. I mean,
I thought you were asking him.
No, I'm just trying to remember myself here. Because I can't remember. But anyway, they look good in that second half. The same people who threw to in the second half of, prior to the last game. And they just come off a 30-0 game. Why are we talking about this?
They gave up 27 to the Dolphins. That game hit 60.
All right, Veno. Let's keep going. I think I like Carolina there. All right, let me ask you this. The other side, Atlanta looks so terrible in that 0-30 loss, right? Now they're at home, laying a short number. Washington doesn't have Jaden Daniels. I don't know. After getting embarrassed like that, I would think you get a really good effort from Atlanta at home. Back home after a couple road games in a row, too. I know they're happy to be home. I would try to find as many reasons as I can to back Atlanta. Do you have any?
They already beat the backup quarterback against Minnesota a couple of weeks ago, right? Their defense absolutely took Minnesota apart in that game. Minnesota was without some offensive linemen, but Washington without Jaden Daniels just isn't Washington. And I think with these NFL teams and these defenses that are good enough to do it, Skee, see against Washington is let's just go ahead and stack the box and take away the run. Jaden Daniels could beat us, but we don't think we can get beat by the backup. And I'd agree with that. I think Atlanta is way good enough defensively. I don't think Washington is. In that game where Atlanta beat Minnesota, which is a Brian Flores defense, a better defense than what Washington brings to the table, they had enough big plays out of Bijan Robinson and enough pass completions out of Michael Penix to get it done. And I don't know why they can't get it done here. That home field means something in Atlanta. So at under a field goal, I think it's probably the right side. I'd have a hard time with the Commanders. Everything they do offensively is predicated on Daniels. And without him, they didn't look the same to me last week. So I don't know how that's going to change a whole bunch on the road here against Atlanta.
Mariota, man. I mean, I'm willing to bet against that guy for as many more games as he plays. I'll just say that. You don't have to. It didn't take too much talking into to fade Mariota for me. Were you gonna say something there? You ready to keep going?
No, I see you studying there. I know you're throwing, so I'm just waiting to catch another one.
All right, Tampa Bay and Eagles. I think it's. I mean, it opened 2.5. It did cross the 3 and go to 3.5 for Philadelphia on the road, but. And this is one where you can correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm just speaking from top of my head. Philadelphia hasn't been like steamrolling or killing opponents. They've been playing relatively close games, right? Tampa Bay, they've been damn good. I want to say 14-6 as an underdog recently. So them being at home here, I know they're a little banged up, but when I see them catching points, I tend to try to find reasons to back them. 3.5. I mean, you could do one of those 7-point teasers and get 10.5 and feel really good about it. And if you are betting a 7-point teaser, you want to bet it at Bet Online. I'm gonna tell you that right now. In general, I think teasers have really good odds at Bet Online. I'll just throw that out there. But I want to try to get there with Tampa Bay at home. Is there any reason for you to talk me off of that?
I'm trying to wait on the injury report. Obviously, not having Mike Evans now is critical for Tampa Bay. They're already without Chris Godwin, who has a question mark next to his name for this week. He could return. That's part of the weight on the injury report. Tristan Wirfs, the left tackle. That's another part of the weight on the injury report. Didn't play last week. They've skated by barely. Field goal against Atlanta, 1 point against Houston on that Monday nighter, and then 2 points against the Jets last week. And it's mostly due because they just haven't been healthy, Skee. I would love to be against Philadelphia because I don't think Philadelphia's, they're not Super Bowl Philadelphia. Let's put it that way. Should have got beaten last week by the Rams. It went their way, give them credit. But they haven't shown, especially on the defensive side. And in that secondary, it's been a problem since the offseason. They've tried to correct it. You can throw on this team. They haven't been able to correct it. And Baker Mayfield, if there's one thing he can do when he has the weaponry, he can shred you. But they're just so light on receivers. If Godwin doesn't play, I'd have a hard time betting that team without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin. Just in that instance, Philadelphia to me has too much offense for them.
All right, that's what I need to think about a little bit more. I'm gonna just group a couple together, and if any of them catch your attention, we can talk about it a little bit. Buffalo has not been good as a double-digit favorite. They didn't cover versus Miami last week. I know the Saints have been terrible, but you're getting, it's a three possession game right there with the point spread. It's New Orleans or pass for me with that. Tennessee and Houston, to see Houston laying -7 as bad as they've been is kind of standing out to me. But my eye test, I can't trust Houston. So now that I'm saying that out loud, I'm gonna just go ahead and pass that. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that one alone. So I guess that New Orleans and Buffalo, And then we have, Kansas City. Are they dead? Baltimore. Baltimore's defense looks so poor. I think that Mahomes can find a way to win, but I know Baltimore will be very hungry off of a loss. So, any thoughts on Baltimore, KC, New Orleans, Buffalo?
Well, for Buffalo, it's just the interest level, right, Skee? They do have a divisional game next week, which would be more important. It's against New England. They'll be a big favorite again, but it's still AFC East game, which is the most important to them. So how much of an interest level they have against New Orleans is probably your biggest question there. It's a little bit of a tough travel spot for New Orleans. Go to Denver, get whacked, come all the way back east to play Buffalo. If Buffalo wants to lay it on, they can, but I just don't know that they care to. It could be a get in, get out type situation. Or before I even say that, it could be one where they come out lazy and New Orleans gets the first half. So it's difficult. I can make counter arguments each way. Baltimore, KC, I'm just going to say that with Xavier Worthy back, thank goodness Travis Kelce hasn't, put him out for 6 weeks by colliding with him in that first game. But with Worthy back, with Hollywood Brown, with Kelce, gives Mahomes more weapons. And any team so far that's had offensive weaponry has lit up the Ravens. The Bills got him for 41. Detroit just got him for 38. And those games went flying over the total. I wouldn't be surprised if this one gets over the total too. 48.5 to me looks too low. Baltimore can still score. They don't have any problem doing that, but they don't stop anybody. And some of it's due to injury for sure on that side of the football. So that's the way I would look at those two. Buffalo, like I say, hard for me to make a case either way, but I think Baltimore, Kansas City going to go over.
Good stuff. I agree with that total as well. We've really talked about almost every game. The last thing I'm going to say here is, and this is my team, Chargers minus 6.5. Oh, hell no. Ain't no way in hell I'm laying a touchdown with the Chargers, man. I know they've looked all right. They've looked good so far. But on the road, a touchdown? Yeah. I'm not even going to break it down. It's just they're going to have to make me a believer, Rob Veno. So I have a feeling you're not going to talk me off of Giants plus 6.5.
No, I won't talk at all because I've done enough work with you to know that Chargers as favorite. I learned my lesson. You know what? I listened to you a couple of times. It proves to be right. They're just not that great of a favorite. Does that trend begin to change the longer Jim Harbaugh coaches this team?
It has lately. I'm not going to lie.
And so that's the only thing that you're looking at here is maybe the coaching change makes a shift in that trend, but it's a big price to lay on the road.
Yeah, absolutely not for my money.
And you're going to get Jackson Dart, right? You're not going to have Russell Wilson. The rookie will quarterback that game, and we'll see if he brings any life to the team, which Russ really wasn't doing unless he was playing the Cowboys, who can't stop anybody.
And that's where, I get it. Everybody wants to fade the rookie quarterback. I'm not a Dart guy. I don't think he's that good. And when you remind me of Jackson Dart, it pulls me back in a little bit, Rob, So I'm not really a believer. But yeah, there's no way that I'm taking the Chargers. All right. I think we did a pretty good job here. We talked 2 WNBA games, a college football game, damn near the entire NFL slate. And now about that time to move it over to best bets. So I don't have anything to toss up on the screen here, Rob Veno. I know actually you do still have Weekend Warrior going, right? So if you want to be involved with every football play released from, you can get from Rob, myself, whoever you want to get it with, you can get it for $49. It includes 5% plays, it includes Monday Night Football. So it's a good way to get involved there. And outside of that, Rob Veno, I'm going to pass it back to you. I'll ask you if there's anything you would like to promote. And if you have a best bet for the show, we'd love to hear it. If you don't have a best bet, it's all good.
I'll just, double promote the Weekend Warrior package, Skee. That's a pretty good deal. I have to say, you get all 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, every football play release for just $49. Wager Talk does a pretty good price reduction on that from $108, I think, down to $49. So if you're interested this weekend, absolutely go and pick up a Weekend Warrior package. over at wagertalk.com. I'm going to leave you with the best bet here, though, because I really believe Florida State, Virginia are getting over 60 points here. I should say over 61 because some people that are going to bet this now might only see 60s, but do shop it because there's still places out there showing us 59.5. You want to get the best of the number here. To me, though, it's a dead over game in this case. And like I said, I've just been high on this Virginia offense. Odds makers starting to catch up, but maybe not enough in this contest because Florida State's offense is dynamite too. So Florida State, Virginia over. I'm looking here. I think we can still get away with 59.5. So I'm going to say over 59.5.
All right, good stuff from Rob Veno. Before I get to mine, Rizachi. Let's get to him real quick. He says, fade Skee. He's mega trash. He knows nothing. For real. Fade him mostly, especially NBA. And he says, Dart is good, Skee. Number one, I'm going to say, Rizachi, we would love it if you have a channel to come talk these games, or if you have a track record of what you've done. I've won 6 out of 8 years in the NBA. So if you've done better, I'd love to see it. If you have not, you should probably just shut the hell up and watch the show. That's what I'll say. My best bet for the show, promo actually first. I've hit 8 out of 9 in NBA playoffs. My bad, I got a phone call right there. I've hit in the WNBA playoffs, and I have a 5% up and available for tonight. So if you'd like to be involved, you guys know where to find it. You can see both Rob Veno and my profile page at the bottom of the screen. And my best bet for the show, I'm gonna give you football, one that I played. The number's not there anymore, but I took the Lions minus 8.5. I do think it's a double-digit win. I gave you a lot of reasons why the offensive rhythm should continue, and that's where my money will be this weekend. So appreciate everybody in the chat. A lot of great people. Brian H says, great job, Skee and Rob. Appreciate it. Let's win this weekend. Mark A, Steve, appreciate all you good guys out there. So Veno, always tell you too, I appreciate you taking the time to come break these games down with me. Helps my process. I'm sure you help everybody else out there as well. Chat, most of you guys, except for one asshole. We appreciate you as well. A lot of good people, great cappers. We all just trying to help each other win. So best of luck on all your action this weekend. We'll be back again on Monday, and we will catch you all then.